Today's video, we're going to talk about DUI attorney marketing on Google Ads as well as YouTube ads, how you can get leads for only $45 each and closing them at an astronomical rate. So these aren't just cheap leads, these are high quality leads too, to go along with it. And so if you want to make literal piles of cash and just see your bank account just keep getting bigger and bigger, you want to do the things I'm going to cover in this video here today. These are proven strategies I've used at our firm with other criminal defense attorneys that specialize also in DUI to get hundreds of leads a month. Not dozens, but hundreds in a mid-sized market only. So you can do this for yourself. I'm going to go through the exact closing rate on these leads as well as how much money you're going to make. Stay to the end of the video for the full contents there, but also exactly how to replicate this for yourself, given that as a DUI attorney, the #1 way, baby, to be able to make more money in your business is to master online marketing. Because guess what? Everybody goes online when they get a DUI, and they're going to do some level of research. If you're not going to be there, somebody else is. They're going to get the business, you're not. And it's really that simple. And the normal way people go about doing this is all wrong. For the most part, in today's environment, the winner takes all. That is, the top 10 or 20% of marketers in your market in the DUI space are going to get 80+% of the business, because it takes doing more with your ads to actually get them to work. So if you've tried it before, this information is going to be able to put you on top where all that money actually is made. And of course, if you're doing stuff offline to get leads, this is much more productive, at least from what the attorneys that I talk to, and then just piling all their money into this. So for that matter, this is a cure-all fix for your business by getting this installed in your business as well. For that matter, there's two major places to get leads in this space. Of course, you could run Facebook ads and do all that. I don't really believe in that in this space. Why is that? Because when somebody gets a DUI, there's only a small window of time that you have to actually get in front of somebody before they're gonna actually hire somebody. That can be, a day to a few weeks, but basically they're gonna get an attorney right away for the most part, or maybe a few months in, some occasion. With that said, you gotta be able to identify that small window of time that you got to get in front of somebody, and then also you gotta be able to say something relevant enough so they come to you instead of somebody else, of which is not that hard to do. But for that matter, the great thing about Google is they'll tell you every single person essentially that's gotten arrested for a DUI recently. Why? Because most people, more than half of the people out there, are going to make some level of search or do some research about DUIs when they get arrested. How much time do you get for a second DUI? How much time do you get for a third DUI? What's the penalty for the first DUI? Will I go to jail for a DUI? Something like that gets searched at some point in the process, of which that tips you off into knowing exactly that this person just got a DUI, and we're going to be able to now get in front of them, hammer them with ads so they come to us before they come to anybody else. Most of that is done with YouTube, given that today in today's market, they're going to YouTube for this information. Of course, some people go to Google and they'll type in, what's the penalty for DUI? And then Reddit, and they'll look for Reddit. You can run ads there, technically, but generally speaking, they're going to go to YouTube for most question, or at least a lot of them. And then you just basically show up on YouTube when they make any search like this, and you're there, and you're going to be able to make and get all those sales essentially with the process I'm going to describe here. For that matter though, before you do all that, the lowest hanging fruit that's available to you in your space is simple Google search ads. What I mean by that is buying searches, because there's people looking for on Google search, similar to what I mentioned before, what's the penalty for a DUI, of which I would run ads driving people to a video ad on YouTube, or should I say a video on YouTube that you want people to watch, so that once they watch the video, they're going to be familiar with you as a lawyer or somebody at your firm, and they're going to be wanting to contact you as a result because of your knowledge and friendliness and candor that you had and so forth. But bread and butter in this space still is Google search ads, people typing in DUI attorney, DUI lawyer near me, all that type of stuff, that general bit of searches, of which you're going to be paying about $45 a lead from what at least I've gotten in this space, and I know it's possible, of which you can get as well if you go ahead and you set up your ads the way that we set them up here at our firm, which is you got to have something called single keyword ad group campaigns, where you have unique ads for every keyword that you're targeting. So if somebody's looking for a DUI attorney Dallas, your ad says DUI attorney Dallas, because that's exactly the way that they referred to it as, and that's the way that you need to refer to it as, so that when they're deciding which of the 4 ads to click on the top of Google, they pick yours a majority of the time. Because going back to what I was saying before at the start of this video, 20% of the people in the market are going to make 80% of the money. Google set up their system now to prefer to show the advertisers that help their users at the highest level. And everybody else, which there's generally 10 or 20 lawyers cycling in and out of the top 4 ad spots on Google, they have to pick from to decide who shows or not, given there's only 4 spots at the top of Google. And they are going to, when you start advertising, test you out. And if you are not having click-through rates on your ad and conversion rates on the traffic you're driving to your website higher than the competition, those other 10, 20 other attorneys, they're just simply not going to show you, or they're going to take advantage of you. They're going to charge you too much per click. They're going to give you the lower portion of the traffic. And so ultimately, if you just want to do the bare minimum, you're wasting your time. That's not an issue though, because if you simply do what I'm mentioning here, where you have unique ads for each keyword that you're targeting, and if they refer to yourself as a lawyer versus attorney, that small stuff matters in your ad copy. When they go to Google and they are looking for a DUI attorney, they're looking for 3 things. They want to know, can you do it? That is whatever they came to Google for. They want to know, do you cover their area? And can they trust you? And the quicker you communicate those 3 things, the more they're going to click on the ad, the more they're going to call. And of course, you need it clicking and calling at such a rate to cover the ad spend, and also to get to this $45 per lead, where you're going to make money and you're only going to be spending 10% or less of the case value in terms of advertising costs to get it. Ultimately, a person searches for DUI attorneys near me. Your ad needs to say DUI attorney near you, because that's how they searched it, and that's what's going to make your ad stand out amongst the other ads that are there at the top of Google. Then it also needs to say in, and then the name of your city. Ideally, you have different campaigns for different radii around your business. So, because people that are within a 10-mile radius of your office are going to be the most likely to convert. The people that are 30 miles around your office, they're going to convert at a lesser rate. And then with that, your ad that you run for people 10 miles around your office versus 30, it's going to say the name of your actual suburb that you're in. So instead of saying Dallas, that you say Arlington or some other suburb of Dallas. Why? Because that's going to make your ad more clickable thereof, and also convert at the highest rate. So DUI attorney near you, located in, Arlington. And then best that I found in terms of communicating the trust factor, or part of the equation as to whether somebody clicks on your ad or not, is to say how long you've been doing what you're doing. Nobody wants to hire a snot-nosed lawyer with 2 years of experience. And no offense to anybody watching this, but that's the reality. And if you are that, then you have to focus on something else that'll make people trust you. Say you have great reviews, that's fine. But if you say 23 years experience, that's the best that I found in this market. So that's the 1, 2, 3 punch, if you will, in terms of communicating value on your ad, in order to get them to click higher than your competition. Because ultimately, you don't have to have the best ad in the world. You just got to get your ad clicked on at a higher rate than your competition does. Because Google benchmarks you against the competition. And if it's not getting clicked as good as the competition, why are they going to show your ad? Why do they want to show your ad? They don't. And so what they do is they'll say, yeah, we'll show your ad, but we're going to charge you 3 times, 4 times as much for a click. And we're going to give you the part of the traffic that we know is less serious. So the people typing in DUI attorney, they know from their data, the people that search that, but also are this age and this income level and whatever, they're the crappy ones. And they're going to make sure your ad shows up from those people instead of their favorite guy they want to encourage to stay around. So you got to do exactly what I just mentioned up front there. Respectively, ideally, in the first 2 headlines, you want to squeeze all of that information that I have there, because usually it's just the 2 headlines that show up on Google on your ad, not 3. Description doesn't matter as much. Most people don't read that. Respectively, you then drive people to a landing page, says the same thing. DUI attorney in, and then the suburb, or if they're further out, you're going to say the name of the metro area that you're in still, so they know you're still local, how long you've been in business. Then with that, you want to say your average review rating on Google, Yelp, lawyers.com, the places that you've been well reviewed at, with links to verify those average review ratings. out of 5 stars that you have gotten in those places. Ideally also you show a picture of yourself as per what I found, because more than anything else, we live in a superficial world. People want to see who they're dealing with. I mean, people are prejudiced, before they go into an office or even call, they want to know they're dealing with somebody like them or somebody that they expect. Generally speaking, it's the man that both genders want, that as what I've seen with my testing. But you show that, and then ideally also, as a part of this, we did some testing around free ride to the office, given that if you got a DUI, you don't have your license anymore, probably dealing with a drunk. That's a cool thing you can offer on your landing page to get a bit more conversion rate. But the idea is here that you have different landing pages for different keywords that you're targeting. So the headline of the page matches what was on the ad, and what they typed in was on the ad and it was on the landing page. That's the way to make users think the least. The less you make users think, the more they convert. Along with this, you got to be able to also track everything well. You got to track every phone call, every form fill you get. By the way, if you want extra leads, I would highly recommend text response and respond by live chat, of which you're going to use a live chat bot to initially engage with them. And as soon as they start talking, you're going to take that over, also in this space. But in addition to that, you got to track all whether those things happen, feed that back to your ad account so that the ad algorithm decides if your ads run or not, and for who, they get that information showing you're doing well, and then specifically who likes to respond to your stuff. Who is your client, if you will. In addition to that, you need to track whether the lead's qualified itself, what is presumed fee that you're going to charge for this client, feed that information back to the account so that the algorithm can actually optimize for people that are going to be spending more, because you obviously don't charge the same fee for everybody. The case varies. And so if you want to optimize and have Google send you the big juicy cases, you're going to have to send them the data. Tells them exactly which cases are bigger. So all of that has to be done as well. If you want to get to this $45 lead cost that I'm talking about here, it's possible to get. For that matter, you may say, well, how the hell are you getting a $45 lead cost still? Maybe I don't believe that. The reality is the difference between setting up the average way, where just people will spend 10 minutes setting up an ad, dump some keywords into a campaign, and doing it the way that I'm saying, literally paying $200 a lead and $45 a lead, or even more. Now, granted also, you got to know, no matter how good it's set up, it's going to take Google's algorithm time to realize it's good and give you credit for all this. So this is going to be also after setting it up and running for a few months already, 6 to 12 months to get down to this level. But you absolutely can get there. As long as you have better ads and better landing pages than your competition, you will get it. So it's just up to you whether you're going to set it up or not. If you're not going to set it up and expect it to happen, you're wasting your time. I'm telling you right here and right now. So that's the formula. With that $45 cost per lead, you should be able to close at 30% if you're handling the leads correctly. A lot of attorneys that I've dealt with in the past, they just try to have a regular old secretary answering the phone. And they do it willy-nilly, and they're out on lunch and they're not answering the phone, and therefore the leads get lost. Or the secretary's on the phone with somebody else and they're not answering the phone. Or they fill out the form and it takes them 24 hours to get back to the client. All this stuff chips away at your closing rates that you get. If you want to do it right, every form fill needs to automatically be turned into a phone call using a software called CallDrip.com. That form fill sends an automated call to your secretary. They're able to hit 1 on their phone to connect themselves to the person who just filled out the form, and you're able to make contact with the lead within 60 seconds. That's number 1. Number 2, how you answer the phone, you need to have a scripted process for this. No just, hey, welcome to Johnson's Law Office. How can I help you? No. Welcome to Johnson's Law Office, the #1 DUI attorney in the city of Dallas. You start off the call with the statement saying that you called the right place. And then for that, you got them a scripted process to take them from where they answer all the way to a booked meeting. Given that a lot of times you can't answer you can't take a live transfer at any time. You're with other clients. So you got to have a key way for your secretary that's not a legal expert to get them excited enough to be able to book the call. And a lot of times they're going to have questions of which they got to be able to answer those properly. So anyway, long story short, this could be the difference between closing 10% or 30% of the leads. So you can do it however you want. You're going to make a third of the amount of money if you don't go ahead and optimize your sales process along with this. So that is what you do. Now, I talked about earlier how I would also run ads for people that are just typing in, what's the penalty for a second DUI? What's the penalty for the third DUI? And driving people to a YouTube video that they watch. 100% do this as well. I didn't include that on my thing here, but that's something that you want to do as well, ultimately. In addition to, if somebody's just recently searched for those things, for the next 30 days, you start marketing to them while they're browsing the internet, information to get them into the fold, so to say, at your firm. So to do this, what you're going to start out with is you're going to make videos on the main questions that people ask in this space all the time. How to hire a DUI lawyer, what to do after a DUI, how to get out of a DUI, DUI penalties, what are the typical penalties. Make a list of a good 50 videos answering every possible question they could ask. And I know this sounds like a lot of work or it's too much work, whatever. Do you want to make a lot of money? If so, then if you want to become a multi-millionaire running ads for your business, it's not going to be 10 minutes of work. You make these videos though, and you put them on your YouTube channel. Then what you do, once you've got that though, the assets there, you advertise the videos. So if somebody is searching for what to do after a DUI, your video ad, which has that video on it, will show up for people while they're watching other videos on YouTube, as well as videos about DUI, by the way. It'll also show up in YouTube search results when they're searching for stuff about DUI. And basically, every single person who's getting into the market of the DUI space, if you will, starting to do research, they're going to stumble upon your video no matter what. And they're going to see a relevant video based upon what they actually searched for. They see this video, then, because they saw the video, they're now familiar with you, they're more willing to see other videos from you. And then what you do is you set up what is called a remarketing campaign that trickles out other videos for them. So they saw your video about DUI penalties, then later on they see a video ad about how to get out of a DUI. What are the tricks? What's your options? And then they see another video ad about breathalyzers and how they are accurate. You can do stuff about that. Point is, each video that they subsequently see makes them a little bit more likely to do business with you versus somebody else. And these remarketing video ads that show up for people while they're on YouTube over this 30 days or so, and they're trying to evaluate who they're going to work with, they just keep consistently showing up, and they're basically forced to see them all. If the videos are good enough, which that's your goal, of course, they see the one video though that shows up for them in terms of an ad, they're going to go watch all your other organic videos because, of course, they wouldn't have searched for that information if they were already interested in what you have to say. And then if that content was good enough, they're going to want to see all your other content because it's better than what other content they can find on YouTube itself. Not only that, but it comes from a local expert. Because you can have these video ads only show up for people if they're within 30 miles of your office. So you can say, as a Dallas DUI attorney, I can tell you X, Y, and it makes it more likely they're going to want to watch your content because they know ultimately, hey, if I like this information and I want to hire this guy, he's hireable. It's not just some random attorney on the internet that I then now have to go find an attorney. I'm killing kind of two birds with one stone. What you're doing is you're essentially creating like a little sales funnel for yourself. You target people who are searching for one of these top 50 questions about DUIs. And then when they search for one of those things, which by the way, you set up through something called a custom intent audience with Google. I won't go into detail how to set that up on this video. We've got videos about that. You can search for custom intent audience on my channel homepage in the search bar and you'll get detailed information about that, or just Google it. So if they looked for how to hire a DUI lawyer, that video pops up for them on YouTube search results if they searched for it there, or if they're watching a video about that topic, it pops up for them while they're watching that video. Also, you run a Google search ad. If they ask that question to Google, an ad pops up in Google, and if they click on it, it drives them to that video on your channel as well. The idea being here that no matter what they're searching for, they're going to stumble upon at least one of your videos. Then, because they like it so much, they're going to watch your other videos. They're going to subscribe to your channel on top of it, likely. At the very least, these other videos that show up for them afterwards are going to get them the rest of the way familiar with you, so they want to do business with you. The key thing, you got to put yourself in the user's shoes for once. If you're going to hire an attorney, the main thing is people don't trust attorneys. I'm going to hire the person that I think I can trust more than anything else. Yes, competent, yes, but competent also and trust. How do I know that you're competent and I can trust you? The main way that you do this is you do it by having them see video content where you display your expertise. I mean, really, there's no other way to really do it other than how long you've been in business. Here's my reviews. That stuff's great. That in and itself isn't everything. And especially when they're just jumping into deciding who to go with, that's not the information they're looking for. That's a reconfirmation for them that they made the right decision later on. But at the beginning, you got to start with your expertise and you got to do it. You got to really spend time on these videos. You get them to watch one video and then they watch the others one way or another. Ultimately, just to let you know, it literally only costs about 5 cents for a view of a YouTube video. So every single person who searches for, how to get out of a DUI, whatever that you show up for in your market, it'll cost 5 cents to have a video ad show up for them. Of which, once they see the one, then you can have several more show up for them. And now you're paying 30 cents to get in front of that person who had a DUI, which over here, you're paying tens of dollars to get in front of a person who's looking for a DUI lawyer. Over here, you're paying 30 cents. While this is a bunch more work to get the results you want, this has got even more ROI potential. Not only that, but there's a lot more people you can get because unless you get them at the last second and they click on your ad versus somebody else's, you don't have them. Here, you can make 5 to 10 times as much money here than you can here if you've done the video ads right, because there's a lot more people just doing basic research online than there are typing in DUI Attorney Dallas. Ultimately, even though you do this, and this is your bread and butter at the beginning, this is limited in what amount of volume it's going to get you. You'll be able to get, in a city size of Dallas, your 50 to 100 leads a month. But if you want 100, you got to add this piece in right here, baby. And that's specifically how you do it. These videos are just like a talking head style video. It doesn't have to be complicated. Yes, I would hire a professional editor and video guy or whatever to make all the audio and edits and transitions and all this great and pleasant to watch, because that makes a significant difference watch time on your videos, which goes into your ROI of your campaign. But literally, it could just be once you find out the 50 things, you make 50 videos on each one of these things, then you create your campaigns for each question that will target people asking each one of those questions so that they see a relevant video for the question that they asked. And then, of course, once they watch the one, they see all your other videos trickle out for them. And that's your mechanism to make hundreds of leads a month, literally said, of which the lead cost is only going to be $10 a lead or around there. Why? Because your competition is not doing this stuff. In most markets, people aren't doing this stuff. I really don't know why, in today's environment, why people aren't taking advantage of this, where Google literally tells you, these people are about ready to buy. Do you want to show a video ad to them? It'll only cost you, if they do watch, we'll charge you 5 cents. Wide open in most markets. There's a few markets out there where you have competition doing this. 90% of the markets, there's not. You'll be the only one. And by time the person is ready to buy, they have seen 5, 6, 7, 8 of your videos. Now they're 50% likely just to hire you because they know you're the most familiar one to them. Particularly if you're really good at talking and presentable and look good and all this other stuff, because obviously all that stuff is a factor too. $10 a lead as opposed to our $45 a lead here, and a 35% closing rate as opposed to our 30% max closing rate over here, which for most of you guys that are not sales experts, don't have the sales process really refined, it'll probably be 20% closing rate. So you have a cheaper cost per lead and a much higher closing rate here, even though it's a ton of work to get this done right and takes a little bit of skill. And also the volume is ridiculously higher and potential is higher here than what you have here. That shows you the potential of video marketing in this space. So hire a video crew, put your videos together, then set up your campaigns to make sure the video content that you put together shows up for the right people. And then with that, to go with this, make sure on Google search, if they've asked any of those questions as well, you're driving them to your video content as well. And that's all there is to it. So you can stick with this and make some okay money. The real money comes in when you add this, particularly as, by the way, once somebody comes to your website and they go to your landing page and you have part of your landing page that has a whole section that says, have questions about DUI, and you have a video, like 4 videos there in a grid format, and then a link, watch the rest of my videos, linking to your YouTube channel, That's going to make them more likely to turn into a lead and close. Not to mention, once they get to your landing page, even whether they turn into a lead or haven't yet, you can have all the rest of your videos show up for them after they've left, and they're going to get the rest of the way familiar with you, so that they weren't quite sure to go with you or not. They're now going to be much more likely to go with you because you've been with them the whole time while they're trying to decide with the most convincing content that there is, which is video content where you talk about your expertise as a lawyer in specifically the DUI space. Your cost per lead is going to be similar showing up for people, whether it's Google search or on YouTube. As long as they're asking the right questions, you got it targeted right with your custom intent audiences and people that have asked a specific question and hitting them with that exact video, you're going to get super high click-through rate on your videos, 2-3%, go into your landing page and converting. We've seen it. You can also do this as well. I will admit the Google search ads, because they're actively looking for that information there and they're a bit more serious, your leads are going to be a little bit better and then cheaper there. Nevertheless, you want to Google search ads and then also show up on YouTube. On top of other competitor videos, local as well as national competitors, that is other DUI lawyers, but also in the search results. You show up in the search results with something called in-feed video ads, and you show up on top of other videos from other lawyers that are talking about DUI stuff, or it could be a non-lawyer too, using in-stream video ads. And so when you run a video campaign, you can run in-stream and in-feed. You're going to want to run both. The important thing is that you create these custom intent audiences for each question, so that if they ask XYZ question, they're going to get XYZ answer in the form of a video from yourself explaining the exact thing that they want to know. Of course, then they start getting a trickle of other videos, other need-to-know information, and then once they saw several of them, you got them. Essentially how it works. You see the difference in ROI here. If you haven't subscribed to this channel and you want to know the details on how to do this specifically, like in terms of how to make a great landing page layout, how to make a great ad in terms of the descriptions and site links, all this stuff. I go over all these details on this channel in specific, and I go over them regularly because whatever I find works at our agency, I share on this channel, and I do it all the time. So if you are trying to make a ton of money with advertising, you should also ultimately subscribe to this channel. I've got a great set of information on my blog as well on my site at guaranteedppc.com/blog. So if you like the channel and the information here, you should check that out as well. If you have any questions about anything I'm covering here today, or any ad-related question or marketing-related question, you can always leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or comment on this channel, usually within 24 hours. You can also reach out to me through my Discord group. The link is in the video description, as well as through my website at guaranteedppc.com. By the way, I work with agency owners as well as individual companies and firms, legal firms, but as well as many other companies, not just in the legal space. What we do is we offer guaranteed results on your campaigns, in that if you need to be profitable before paying us, we'll say, yes, John, Mary, whatever, we'll do that. We'll make sure you get 50 leads on your starting ad budget before we start charging. We're happy to do that. As long as you're willing to pay a fair fee after that, we're willing to do that for you. We're the only firm that will do that, by the way, anywhere else online that I still know of, where they'll offer a trial on the PPC services. We're doing it at our agency. And so if you're interested in this, let me know at guaranteedppc.com, and I'll get you a projection of your results of what we can get for you in your local market or in general. By the way, on top of that, if you want to buy the templates work for you in the DUI space, I've got them. Just reach out to me through my site, where you can literally copy paste everything that works in this space in another city that you're in into your ad account and get the same results without having to do all the work that I did, setting up the strategies and so forth. I also got templates in hundreds of other niche markets. So if you were looking to get into something else, we've got them there. I can tell you the results you're going to get with them up front as well. And of course, if you are looking for coaching or consulting, I also do that as well. Anyway, Google search ads are the lower potential overall for your business, but are much simpler and straightforward to get done right. If you just follow the step-by-step instructions I mentioned and are doing it with people that are qualified, that is someone who knows how to make a landing page that converts, doing and using the instructions that I mentioned and are not too lazy to do it, you're going to make money. Okay, you're going to make 50 leads a month in a mid-sized market with several million people. No problem at all to get that regularly. If you're at a market with about 1 million people, I would say you'll be able to at least get 10 plus leads a month. You got that done, you take your base, you take your money you're making, you reinvest it over here, you got potential to get 100 plus leads a month in a market of several million people. If you're not, in a market with 1 million people, you might only get a few dozen, of course. But with that said, you got to put the content together, and you got to have slick looking video content that's both entertaining and engaging at the same time. It's not enough anymore just to be educational. You got to be entertaining and educational at the same time. I just stood here on these videos and I said, yeah, you can make a lot of money with Google. You just have to, nobody's going to watch. Nobody's going to care. It's not enough to just be great with the information. And of course, unless you're the only one in the world with the information, but in the DUI space, they're thinking, do I click off of this and click on something else? And you got to keep them hooked. So for that matter, you may do this, you may not. This is what is going to really separate your business out long-term and really make you the winner in your market. If you want to really dominate, this is where you do it. This is where you be one of many and still make some okay money. This is where you're singled out as the best in your market. Over time, more and more of the market share will come to you when you have this mechanism, because not only once this is going are you going to make money right away, essentially, but in addition, people are going to share the video, channel's going to get bigger, you're going to get organic rankings, that's going to grow your business, and then that amplifies everything else. Of which, by the way, when I say this works right away, yes, you'll get leads right away. Your lead cost is not going to be $10 a lead right away. You need really good tracking, and you need to optimize your campaign to get down to that over time. But you'll start getting some decent leads right away. That you will do, just like with Google search ads. So with that said, I'm going to wrap it up with that. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. If you want to see another video, click here. It is one of my best ones.